Perfect. Let's do it, ladies and gents. Can we have one more time, a round of applause for our beautiful couple? And I've been told specifically we do need to give some support and applause to Tom's mate Jimmy, who is absolutely devastated that Tom's tying the knot with Shelly and not him. So we can give support for Jimmy wherever Jimmy is. He's absolutely spewing today. He is going to MC for them later, which stands for Master of Ceremonies, not Marion Cardi. But let's kick off the wedding, because it is with great pleasure and excitement that I welcome you to the wedding ceremony of Shelly and Tom. If you want to hold hands, yeah, whatever makes you comfortable. Yeah, otherwise you're staring at each other like a, yeah, cool. They're very thankful that you've decided to join them today. And while we're sad some people couldn't make the journey, that does mean we have a little extra alcohol at the reception shortly. So we will have a drink or three on their behalf. But I'm told there will be no red wine for Tom, as he has been known to become a reverse Jesus and he has a magical ability of turning wine into yellow-coloured water in Shelley's bed. But he claims that is due to a late onset of childhood diabetes. That's also, after a few bevies, he's gained the nickname Two-Syllable Tom, so we want him to be all good for the speeches. So as for this speech, I am required to let you know that my name is Daniel Del Borrello and I'm duly authorised by law to solemnise marriages according to law. As you can see so far, I'm not your typical old lady celebrant. You're going to hear some jokes where you're not sure whether to laugh, but rest assured the bride and groom have listened to today's ceremony already, so everything you hear has been approved. So knowing that we've got the all clear, feel free to have a laugh with them as we hear the funny parts as well as the romantic stuff as well. Laughing does make you 70% more attractive to the opposite sex, so Tom must have laughed a lot because he's definitely batting. So these guys, the relationship between these two has always been magnetic, except for when handing out engagement party invites. They consider themselves to be best friends and were lucky enough to work and party together before becoming an official item. This meant that they saw the best and worst of each other, so there were no hidden surprises when they did couple up. As a couple, their friends referred to them as being solid and the same person. And now that Tom's married, he has vowed to stay solid for the same person. When they're hanging out, they love to wind each other up, have a laugh, and call each other out, which is how I found out about Tom's red wine issues a bit earlier. But Tom told me he didn't mind at all. He reckons that actually strengthened their relationship. Shelley was there for him every step of the way, from supporting him out of the bed to directing him straight to the washing machine. He appreciates how she watched his every move and gave him lots of feedback to help him grow and develop as a human being. Now he's less of a Jesus and more of a Moses, being able to part the Red Seas on command. Speaking of control, it took every ounce of it for Tom to remain professional when he first saw Shelley at work. He had just moved interstate and he was the new guy at St. John Ambulance who didn't know too many people in his new city. Tom described himself as a small fish in a big pond and feeling like a lost little puppy. He was a pretty well-trained puppy initially though, as his friend warned him, don't go green, which means don't hook up with anyone at work if you're unfamiliar with the really glamorous shade of green that St. John's have chosen for their uniform. All was going well for his first few shifts until he was rostered at Central Depot. Wanting to impress, he arrived to work checking in early, but unfortunately he ended up checking out the absolute smoke show that was walking in from across the car park. The girl he saw was wearing gym tights and a crop top after a gym session, and Tom nearly had to grab a defibrillator to restart his heart. They say dogs go wacko for schmackos. Tom completely felly for Shelley. But Tom, determined not to ruin his new life in the first week of living here, convinced himself that this was just the universe testing him, and he was determined not to get any dumb nicknames at his only place of work. But Shelley, on the other hand, remembers that she was in a bit of a rush and had been told there was a new guy starting at work that she would like. So when Tom walked over, she figured it must be him. All Tom could say was, "Hi, I'm Tom." Like the scene straight from 50 First Dates. But at least "Hi, I'm Tom" is one more sound than two-syllable Tom when he's pissed, so being drunk on love actually helped his vocabulary. Now, Tom didn't want to ruin it, so he said he began the longest game of Mr. Nice Guy ever. This lost puppy just found his new owner, and he was doing all he could to not hand her the leash and collar on the spot. Eventually, they found themselves on a messy Sunday sesh, smashing back tequilas. Tom was about to hit a bigger jackpot than the lotto while getting blotto at El Grotto. As the night went on, he had somehow reversed roles of lost puppy and tramped his prize lady towards his Scarborough apartment. He risked it all, and he leant in for their first kiss while they were in the elevator. Landing it successfully as they reached his floor, their relationship had reached a new level, literally and figuratively. From there, they have fallen for each other pretty hard. Tom always does nice little things for her every day, but her favourite thing is that Tom always makes sure that her water bottle is filled each night before bed. Yeah, Yetis are expensive. Some couples say that the cups are half full. Tom doubles down and fills the bottle. To quote another Adam Sandler movie, that's some quality H2O. She loves how he always makes her laugh, even when she's trying to be grumpy with him. And this is just one of the reasons why Shelly thinks that she's always known he was the one deep down. Even if she is grumpy, Tom does not see it. And just like a 90-year-old patient with an enema in the ER, he loves how she always just gets shit done. Getting shit done for him even before they were together was her forte and holds a special spot in Tom's heart. Shelly used to be his early morning taxi after a big night, personal chef making feta and avo eggs, and is the best mum to their fertilised egg Scarlett, as well as to him. She was even his boxing coach, and that was weird for me when he wrote that, because I wasn't sure if that was code for she beats him up or not. But I now know it was for a charity fight night and not DB, so that was nice. But the nicest thing she has done for him is buy him his dream car, a Holden HQ 1-tonner, even though he can't quite buy her the Bentley that she wants. Aside from his wheels, his favourite thing about Shelly is how caring, kind and warm she is. Now, warm is a funny choice of words, because the moment that Tom knew without a doubt that he had made the right choice for a wife, they were in sub-zero temperatures on a mountain surrounded by more ice than a Rockingham train station. This is why I tell people they've proofread the ceremony, guys. The realisation was during his proposal expedition, which fittingly was in New Zealand while climbing a frosty mountain. Tom was like a hobbit on his very own Lord of the Engagement Ring journey. It took longer time planning to pull off than it takes people to read the books, though. After getting the green light for NZ, Tom researched all of his romantic options, ranging from a paddle boat in Milford Sound, a helicopter ride to a glacier, and he was even going to use bungee jumping to literally take the leap into marriage. Eventually, he settled on a 1,600 metre elevated spot overlooking Lake Wanaka and Mount Aspiring, full well knowing there'd be zero aspirations mounting in his girlfriend to want to hike an icy cliff face at 4 a.m. in the morning. So Tom strategically changed the name of the place to Ray's Mountain so she wouldn't be able to Google it and catch on what he was doing. But he needed every ray of heat and a ray of hope to try and convince Shelly to actually want to go. So as she snuggled into a warm bed at 9 p.m, he mentioned how incredible the sunrises were supposed to be, which only led to her quizzing him on what they'd do for breakfast and how stupid the idea was. Instead of having food on hand so she could stay comfortable, Tom forced her out of bed to go and get snacks in the cold of the night, meaning the complaints began before they'd even reached base camp. As far as Shelly was concerned, he was taking the absolute piece. To make things worse, Qantas had lost her bag, so she'd be hiking the mountain in the same clothes that she'd been wearing for the last 5 days. So at 3 a.m, the alarm blared to jolt them into action, but it was only Shelly that awakened, so she sneakily shut it off before Tom woke up, inadvertently sabotaging his plan from the first minute. Tom's natural nerves woke him at 4 a.m, sending him into a full panic mode, knowing that he now had to wake the orc from her slumber. He said beast, but this is Lord of the Rings, so I've just made it more on point. As they set off, he realised that they'd left her iced coffee, and Shelly made sure he shall not pass until her magic potion was retrieved. Upon arrival, they only saw 3 headlamps ahead of them, and a sign that informed Shelly that the hike was just a measly 16 kilometres in pitch black darkness, with only a few muesli bars for nourishment. Now, Tom started thinking the answer was going to be no at this point. After protesting, complaining and swearing at Tom for a good hour and a bit, Shelly honestly felt like she was going to die. Even though it was dark, Tom managed to look on the bright side. He said that this was the moment that he knew she was the one, because mid-stride, Shelly articulately, honestly and heartfeltly informed him that she didn't know if she was going to spew or shit herself. So romantic, hey? Thankfully, this isn't one of the times she got shit done. Tom then became Sam and Shelly Frodo, where he basically carried her up the mountain for the remaining way. When he reached the spot that he had envisioned, he dropped to one knee. Not to propose, but to give Shelly CPR, she was dead. He popped the question, and Shelly felt her heartbeat faster, 5% from excitement, 95% from climate-induced tachycardia. But obviously it was a huge yes, which brings us to today. So from the Lord of the Rings to the wedding rings, we're going to make this official. All right, I've got to say this to make it real. Before you're joined in marriage in my presence and in the presence of these witnesses, I'm to remind you of the solemn and binding nature of the relationship into which you are now about to enter. Marriage, according to law in Australia, is a union of 2 people to the exclusion of all others voluntarily entered into for life. All right, these are the I do's. Tom, do you promise to love Shelly as much as you love your lawn? Learn that unpacking the groceries doesn't mean leaving them on the bench for your wife. Don't blame your beard trimmings in the sink on Shelly. Always choose the helicopter ride in the future and continue to be the charismatic, fun and caring partner she's fallen in love with from this point forward.
I do.
All right, we've got that on record. Shelly, do you promise to love Tom as much as you love turning the bathroom into Lake Wanaka when you get out of the shower? Wash the Thermomix after you use it. Let him have a 3-car garage in the next house. And continue to be the adorable, perfect, and he wrote delicious partner he has fallen in love with from this day forward.
I do.
Nice. So we got the 3-car garage in there for you. All right, we're about to do the vows, but to do that we need some rings. So can we make some massive noise, a round of applause for our ring bearer, our nephew Logan, wherever Logan is. And you can grab a seat unless you want to hold their vow book or something. So I'm going to give him the microphone, he'll read his vows, then I'll pass him the ring and he'll put that on like a finishing move and we'll clap and cheer for his public speaking. Then we'll switch it and do the exact same thing.
Shell. From the girl I didn't know who strutted her way across the car park at work is now the girl I get to stand at the end of the aisle. Shelly, my wife-to-be. I couldn't be more excited to start this next chapter with you. In the years we've shared, we've built something quite incredible, which is just a small glimpse into all that we can achieve together. You're my best friend, my partner, and my lover. And with you by my side, I know that I'll never have to face life's challenges alone. I'm honoured to be standing beside you today. I call upon the persons here present to witness that I, Thomas Mark Carty, take you, Shelly Elizabeth Smith, to be my lawful wedded wife. I promise that the love I have for you today will remain consistent tomorrow and every day after. I vow to keep our lives exciting, adventurous, full of passion and shared dreams. Together we have created a life rich with meaning and memories to cherish, always striving to make every moment count. I will try my best to balance everything life throws our way, but what I can assure you is that there will always be joy, laughter and love in our life together. I may not be able to promise you the entire world, but I can promise you my world. My unwavering dedication, love, and support, which by default also comes with a sprinkle of annoyingness and the odd fart here and there. Shelly, standing beside you today is my greatest honour, and I can't leave out our greatest achievement, Scarlett. I can't wait to celebrate everything we are and everything we will be. Let's make what's left of this day a party to remember. Let's start the rest of our lives together. Love you.
All right, one is officially locked in, ladies and gents. Round of applause for his beautiful vows. All right, same thing in reverse.
I remember the first time I met you at Central Depot, and in the words of Taylor Swift, I knew you were trouble when you walked in. Although this wasn't the right time, and Central Depot was certainly not the right place. From there, our friendship grew. You navigated my mind better than I can navigate the streets of Perth. We bonded over our similar taste in music, and like the Bring Me the Horizon song, I Will Follow You, that you did. You followed me to Scarborough where we lived a few hundred metres apart, and followed me to Green Zone where you pretended to like boxing. It was a couple of years later when we both knew we had the right person, the timing was right, and El Grotto was apparently the right place. I distinctly remember us, the best of friends, working together in an ambulance and chatting about what names we liked. Little did I know that 7 years later, we would be saying those names again when it came to naming our beautiful daughter Scarlett. Our journey wasn't textbook, but it's ours. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would be lucky enough to be loved by you. I call upon the persons here present to witness that I, Shelly Elizabeth Smith, take you, Thomas Mark Carty, to be my lawful wedded husband. With this ring, I promise to embrace your enthusiasm for motorbikes, boats, trucks, adventure racing, lawn mowing, surfboards, mountain bikes, music, watches, HQ one-tonners, and most of all, your love for Billy. I promise to prioritise you and to choose you every day. Lastly, I promise to love you for all of the wonderful things you are. You are my best friend, my confidant, my home.
All right, we are locked in, ladies and gents. Massive round of applause for both of their public speaking. So in a moment, we're going to do their first kiss, but I need to get the two witnesses, the big sisters, Gemma and Kaylee, to sign the marriage certificate. So we will complete the paperwork and their first kiss will officially be as husband and wife. So I'll get you to join me over at the signing table. I'll chuck some music on. If you need a stretch or a water, if you want to get out of the sun, you can. We'll be back in 5 minutes and we'll see these guys hook up in public. See you shortly. So, our beautiful newlyweds are proudest of their little family consisting of Scarlett and Billy. Tom wanted to say he was proud of buying the house they have together, but he was sleeping for night shift when Shelly signed off on it. Probably snoozed his alarm again. In the future, they wish to have a lifetime of adventures, no higher than 50 metres above sea level, stay best friends and support each other to reach their goals. Tom said as long as they have their health, their happiness and a boat, they will be one big happy family. So I'm going to pop some music on underneath so they can kiss like a rom-com. I'll just play it softly to start with. Alrighty. So, Tom, from your first kiss in an elevator to ascending up the aisle as a married couple, I invite you, for the first time as her husband, to kiss the bride! Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding as I present, for the first time as husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs. Carty! Congratulations.